court and a clerk or court officer. You can only record or photograph during a proceeding, not during any recess. Begins his cry, the proceeding has not begun. You can, of course, record during any motions that may be heard before or after the jurors arrive or leave. If you're not operating one of the two specifically authorized cameras, even if you're a member of the media, you cannot use your cell phone camera or other electronic device to take any photographs or to video anything at all, except for attorneys. Anyone who is not a registered member of the news media cannot have a cell phone or other a camera or other electronic device in this courtroom at all. And if you are an attorney and you have a cell phone with you or a tablet or other electronic device, you have to have it turned off and not just silenced. That includes anyone who is not an attorney, if you're not a member of the media, anyone. If you it cannot be used, even if it's in quiet mode. You have to leave the courtroom if you want to look at a cell phone. A reminder to the media to please check to make sure that your cell phone is in silent mode so it doesn't ring during proceedings, and a reminder to everyone, not just members of the media, to be silent during the proceedings. You can bring the jurors in.
Persons having anything to do before the Honorable, the Justice E. Susan Gosh of the Superior Court, now sitting at Fall River within and for the Commonwealth. Draw near, give your attendance, and you shall be heard. God save the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Court is in session. Be seated, please.
Yes, please.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. Today is Thursday, February 26, 2015. Case on trial of Commonwealth versus Hernandez, indictment 2013-0983. The Honorable E. Susan Garsh presiding.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning.
Have any of you seen, heard, read, or overheard anything at all about this case from Mr. Hernandez since I last inquired? There are no affirmative responses. Have any of you discussed this case in any fashion, or Mr. Hernandez, with anyone at all, including each other? There are no affirmative responses. And have any of you had any difficulty following any of my instructions not to talk or otherwise communicate about, look at, listen to, or do any research about this case or anything you think could be relevant to the case or Mr. Hernandez? There are no affirmative responses. You may call the next witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, I'd call Kelly Rose Belanger, please.
solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give in this court and this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Would you state your full name, please?
Kelly Rose Belanger,
And can you spell your first name
Kellyrose,
and your last name?
Belanger.
How old are you?
32?
And do you work?
Yes.
Where do you work?
Currently at Oki's Japanese Steakhouse?
Prior to that, were you working somewhere else?
Yes.
And where was that?
South Street Cafe?
In the South Street Cafe, where is that located?
The Jewelry District of Providence on
And-
South Street.
Okay, and where is the Jewelry District in Providence?
The vicinity would be about Eddy Street off like the backside of 195.
And how long did you work there?
12 years.
And what type of work did you do there?
I was the bar manager,
And how long were you the bar manager?
about 6 years.
And what other duties did you have in addition to being bar manager?
Scheduling, payroll, inventory, catering, phone calls, managing the staff on a
And-
nightly basis.
And what type of, just what is the general nature of the business?
Pub style, bar/lounge.
Is there food also served?
Yes.
And how many employees are there on any given night or shift?
Could be anywhere from 3 to 10.
And just directing your attention to June 16th of 2013, do you remember that being Father's Day?
Yes.
Did you work on that day?
Yes, I did.
And what shift did you work?
I believe I opened the bar at 5 because we weren't open during the day. So I opened at 5.
And how long generally did the business, well, let me ask you this, the hours of operation, what were they on a day-to-day basis?
Normally from 11 in the morning till 12 or 1 at night, depending on, during the weekends, we stay open later.
Now, on a Sunday, what were the hours?
That Sunday was 5 until 1.
And was there a reason that it's only opened at 5 p.m.?
Yes, because it was Father's Day, so we didn't open during the day.
Okay. So approximately what time did you arrive to work?
About 4:30?
And the business opened at 5?
Yes.
And you continued to work there till what time did you finally leave?
I left after 1 o'clock. I leave after all the staff and the customers leave.
Now, sometime at around 9:30 in the evening, did you see anybody that you recognized?
Yes.
And who did you see?
Mr. Hernandez came in with another woman and a few other people.
And when you say Mr. Hernandez, do you know what his full name is?
Aaron Hernandez.
And had you ever seen him before at the South Street Cafe?
Yes.
Approximately how many times in the past had you seen him before that date?
I don't know how many times offhand, but just casually, like in and out, not like there all the time, but just casually.
Okay. And do you see Aaron Hernandez in the courtroom today?
Yes.
Could you just point him out and describe what he's wearing?
A gray suit with a blue shirt.
Your Honor, if the record can reflect the witness identifying the defendant. Thank you. Now, where did you first observe the defendant?
I was standing in the middle of the 2 doors. There's 2 rooms in the bar, one that goes downstairs, and I was standing there, and he walked by me to go sit in the lower level bar.
You indicated at that time there was somebody with him?
Yes.
And who was that?
I'm not sure.
Okay,
Just
just-
another female.
Okay. And did you see where the 2 of them went?
They went down to the lower bar and sat at a table downstairs.
When they went to that table on the lower part, could you see if there was anybody else at that table?
I believe there was another female and another gentleman.
And how long did you see the defendant at the South Street Cafe that night?
Throughout the night, I believe they left before we closed. We closed, did last call at 1:15. Everyone was pretty much out of the building by then.
Okay. And during the time now, so over the next, say, 3 hours or so, did you have other occasions to see the defendant inside the South Street Cafe?
Yes.
And just tell us, where did you see him?
I just noticed going in and out of the building through the front through the front door, because I always try and keep track of who's in and out of the building
Okay.
as far as customers.
And approximately how many times did you see him going in and out of the building?
I don't know off the top of my head
Okay.
how many times.
Was it more than a couple?
Yes, more than once.
And when he was going in and out of the building, was he with anyone or was he by himself?
He was with another gentleman, a bald gentleman, about 5'6".
Okay. Now, on one of the occasions that you saw him go outside, sometime after that, did you notice anything from inside the bar?
Yes.
And just if you recall, what kind of night was it?
It was a very warm night. It was June, so we had all the doors open, get the breeze in.
And with the doors open, at some point, did you, from where you were inside the building, did you smell something?
Yes, I did.
And what did you smell?
Marijuana.
And as a result of smelling marijuana, did you do something?
Yes, I went to the front door to talk to my security to see where it was coming from, see if he had noticed it too, because other customers had noticed it, and I looked out to the building to the left. Mr. Hernandez and the other gentleman were smoking on the corner of the street.
Okay. When you say they were smoking, what were they smoking?
I believe marijuana, because that's where the smell was coming from.
Did you have a conversation with the defendant and this other individual at that time?
Yes, I asked them to put it out because the other customers could smell it, and they did.
Okay. How far were they from the entrance to your business?
A few feet.
And after that, did you see where they went?
They came back in and sat back down at their table.
Do you know how long they continued to remain at the table after that?
Not that long, because I believe it was towards the end of the night.
Your Honor, may I approach? Just going to show you two photographs.
Okay.
Ask you to recognize these photographs.
Yes, that's the front of South Street.
And is one a further away view and another a closer?
Yes.
No objection.
Any matches, next exhibit?
May I publish this? I'm just putting on the overhead. It's now marked 225A. Can you see that to your left?
Yes.
You recognize that scene?
Yes.
And what is that? Okay.
That's the corner of South and Richmond and South Street Cafe.
And where is the South Street Cafe here?
Where?
Yes.
Right there.
Okay, and where's the entrance to it? You just point to it.
The entrance is right here.
Okay, you're indicating right here?
Yes. That's the front door of the main entrance.
So is the main entrance on what street?
The main entrance is actually on Richmond Street.
Okay, and where's South Street shown here?
South Street is right here.
Over here.
Yes.
Now, you indicated that night that you were working there. Well, where is, if you went through the front door, where is the bar area?
When you go through the front door, the main bar is directly in front. And if you go into the right, there's stairs that go downstairs, and this is the lower level bar.
And you're indicating over here?
Yes.
It's still L?
Yes.
In addition over there. Now, on the night that you were working, that you indicated you were inside and you smelled marijuana.
Yes.
And you came out. Just tell us, where did you see the defendant?
Right over here, behind this car.
You're indicating right over here behind the car?
Yes, towards the driveway to the other restaurant.
Okay. Now, this next building here has a little orange on it, or some glass there. Can you see that, the very right side?
Yes.
And what is that business?
That's Rick's Roadhouse. It's another restaurant.
I see. What do you recognize this to be?
The front of South Street?
Now, after that occasion where you saw the defendant outside in the smell of marijuana, how long after that did he remain at the South Street Cafe?
I don't know off the top of my head because they were in the lower level bar. So the other bartender had cashed them out, so I don't know what time.
Okay. Now, that could be wrong. Yeah, Coach. I'm going to show you this map. Just ask you if you recognize the area depicted in the map.
Yes.
And what do you recognize the areas that are shown here?
We have down here is Eddy Street and the 195 off-ramp where South Street's located.
Your Honor, I don't know if this is the next.
No objection, Your Honor.
Been marked as the next exhibit.
Yeah, publish this, Your Honor. Ma'am, I'm placing 226 on the overhead. I've indicated this depicts the area. First of all, you see the Providence area here on the lower left-hand corner of this map.
Yes.
You indicated that the location South Street Cafe is in the jewelry district.
Yes.
And what are some of the streets in the jewelry district?
Eddy Street, Point Street, more towards this way, I believe, down here.
Okay. You're indicating,
Yeah, so go down this area, Pine Street over here.
do you see, well, first of all, do you see Eddy Street
Yes,
there? And you've indicated Pine Street.
yes.
Is it, you see actually on this diagram, the South Street?
No, I think it's too small.
So, that general area, do you live in the Providence area now?
Yes, I live in North Providence.
And when you would travel from South Street Cafe to your home in North Providence, how would you travel?
By the mall. Go down this way.
I'm sorry?
By the mall, over here by Providence Place Mall.
Okay. And you're familiar with Route 95?
Yes.
And North Providence, are you familiar with the area of Central Falls?
No.
And do you know how far it is from Providence that we traveled into Massachusetts on Route 95?
Probably about 25 minutes, 20 minutes, depending on traffic.
And that would be in what direction from the Providence area?
North, up 95.
Now, ma'am, part of your duties, you involved in the record keeping of the business,
Correct.
and that there's certain receipts generated from transactions during whether people are buying food or drink.
Yes.
And what happens with regard, well, after a transaction? So is there some form of a receipt that's provided to people?
Yes. Whether they pay cash or credit card, they always get an itemized copy. If they pay credit card, we swipe the card and then they have to sign it, and then we close it out, and then you get a double copy for our records that we keep.
Okay. And the record that you keep, would that show, that copy, that show both the receipt and then the payment, if the credit card was involved, the payment
Yes.
of that? May I approach you? I'm going to show you this document. Do you recognize it?
Yes.
And what do you recognize to be?
These are our credit card and our itemized receipts for transactions.
In a record, this record, was it made in the ordinary course of your business
Yes.
and in good faith?
Yes.
And at or near the time that these records were created?
Yes.
And it's these records were made prior to the trial of this matter, is that true?
Yes.
No, I don't.
No objection, Your Honor.
And mark as the next exhibit.
May I publish this, Your Honor? And I'm placing on the overhead now what's marked 227. I'm just going to start with the left side of this document. Do you recognize this receipt here?
Yes.
And what type of receipt is this?
This one is the itemized copy.
And when you say itemized copy, describe what you mean.
Itemized means it shows you exactly whether food or drinks, beverages were consumed, the check number, the date and time, the table they were sitting at, and the
Obviously,
restaurant.
this is information relating to the business, the address,
Yes.
and the phone number.
Yes.
Now, this next line here, what does that indicate?
That is the bartender and her server number.
And did you know a bartender named Eliza?
Yes.
Was she working on the night of Father's Day, June 16, 2013?
Yes.
Now, you also indicated there is a check number that would be assigned to these documents.
Yes.
Is that shown here?
Yes, it is.
And what check number is this?
1677.
Now, over here it indicates a guest.
Yes.
What does that mean?
How the number of guests that are there.
And is there a number underneath that? Do you know what that means?
Yes, table 13.
Now, does this accurately reflect the date when the check was opened?
Yes.
And what time is that?
9:37 p.m.
Okay, and on the date of?
June 16, 2013.
And then this information that follows is what?
That's the itemized of the food and beverages that were consumed.
So, on the food side, what does that show?
2 big stuffed shrimp, 1 crab cake, 20 wings, 11 Hennessy's.
Okay, I'm sorry, so that's on the food.
Yes.
And then with regards to any alcoholic drinks, would that also be reflected here?
Yes.
And what number of drinks, or just tell us what drinks were then served on this tab?
11 Hennessy's, 2 Grey Goose, 7 Bud Lights, 10 more wings, and 10 Sex on the Beaches.
And just describe, Hennessy, what kind of drink is that?
It's a cognac.
And what about G Goose, Grey Goose vodka?
It's vodka.
Next one.
Bud Light is beer.
And Sex on Beach, what is that?
It's vodka mixed with peach tree, cranberry, and orange juice.
Do you know how that is served?
You can serve it as a shot or as a drink.
Now, after that, is there an indication here for a tip?
Yes.
And then how payment is made?
Yes.
How is payment made?
You can buy a credit card,
Okay, what type of credit card?
Visa.
And does the Visa, this number here, does that show some information relating at least the last 4 digits? of the
Yes.
Visa?
You always block off the beginning of the credit card.
And then down below, does this indicate the tally of how much is charged to that credit card?
Yes.
And how much was it?
$243.25 with a tip of $30, so the total is $273.45.
And now the some point was that check closed?
Yes.
And what time was that closed?
12:19, about almost 12:20 on June 17th.
Okay, so, and if Father's Day was on a Sunday, what was June 17, 2013, 12:21?
Monday.
I'm just going to direct your attention to the second document that was included on the record. Again, that has your heading.
Yes.
And what type of document is this?
This is the finalized copy. That way, when you actually cash it out and adjust the credit card transaction to include the tip, then this will be the finalized copy, and we staple that to the other copy.
And what copies would a customer get?
The itemized receipt and a copy of their own credit card receipt.
So anything different than what's shown on this document? Now, with regard to the receipt for the payment, for the credit card payment, does that include the date?
Yes.
And what is the date
June 17th, 2013,
and the time?
12:18 a.m.
And what type of credit card was used?
Visa ending in 5571.
Is that the same that we had just talked about a moment ago?
Yes.
Expiration date?
Okay, start out.
Okay. And the customer?
Aaron Hernandez.
And this auto code, what is that?
That's an authorization code to make sure if the credit card has sufficient funds on it. If it doesn't, it would say declined.
And is that assigned by the credit card company?
Yeah, the credit card processing company.
The check number?
1677,
Check name?
T13,
That's table 13?
table number 13, yes.
And the server you indicated?
Eliza.
And now a reference number. Whose
That-
reference number is that?
Again, the credit card processing company. If there's any issues, then you need to call a credit card company for any reasons.
And then I'm just going to show you down below here. Excuse me. Indicates the total amount.
$243.45.
And then there was a customer copy here where a tip is then added. And it's
Yes.
total. Is that right?
Yes.
If I could have one moment, Your Honor.
Right.
Nothing further. Thank you, ma'am.
Good morning, Ms. Belanger.
Good morning.
I think you mentioned on direct examination, this wasn't the first time that Aaron had come to your restaurant. Is that right?
No.
I just wanted to clarify one thing on Exhibit 227, which is on the screen.
Sure.
You mentioned that it says guess one,
Yes.
but you actually saw him with more guests,
Yes.
correct? So is that an error?
No, we don't. As far as our restaurant's concerned, it's more, it doesn't matter on this. It doesn't affect our occupancy or anything like that to keep track on the actual credit card slip
I see.
or receipt.
Okay. But I mean, this was, clearly he was with a group. He was,
Yes.
it was more than one person. You mentioned that at various times, Aaron would go outside with another man, and then one
Yes.
time he went outside, right, and you approached him, saw him smoking marijuana, what you believe was
Yes.
marijuana, and asked him to stop.
Yes.
And he complied with you, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
And do you apologize? Say, I'm sorry?
Yes,
And then he just returned to the restaurant and rejoined his group?
yes,
Going back to Exhibit 227, I noticed that it has on the left-hand side, which is your itemized version.
Yes.
It says 6/16 at 9:37 p.m. Is that the time when the check was opened?
That is the time when the check was opened.
So those of us that have been to restaurants, we go in and we get seated, and at some point a waitress or a waiter comes over and says, "What would you like?"
Yes, but at South Street, it's kind of self-seating and you go up to the bar.
Okay.
We don't have waitresses.
So that time, based on your experience at South Street, that time would correspond to sort of when the first order was placed?
Yes,
So the people could have been there before then, but
Yes.
that was when the first order was placed.
yes,
And then I noticed it closes at 12:19:56. Is that correct?
yes,
So just about 12:20. And I think you said last call at your restaurant and bar was around 12:45 that night?
yes,
So that's a little before closing time.
yes.
And when this bill was paid, it was paid by credit card, correct?
Yes.
There were no issues with payment?
No,
And aside from the conversation you had outside the restaurant, were there any other issues or
No.
problems?
no, not at all.
Just appear to be a group having a dinner and drinks
Yep,
and a good
just a
time?
group of people having a casual time, food and drinks.
Great. Thank you, Ms. Belanger. Nothing further.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
The Commonwealth calls Dr. Assad Sayya.
Could I see counsel for a moment? Sayya, please.
Do you solemnly swear that you testify about the support of this jury will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, sir?
I do.
Thank you, sir.
May I inquire?
You may.
Sir, state your name for the record, please.
Sayya.
Sir, can you spell that first name
ASSAAD
and your second name?
SAYAH.
And sir, what do you do for a living?
I'm a physician.
Do you own, with your wife, the Blue Hill Express service station in Canton, Massachusetts?
Correct.
Turning your attention to June 24th, 2013, at about 9:30 p.m., did you have some duties with regards to the station that night?
Yes.
And what were those?
I was called to come and look at some footing in the camera system, in the security system.
And who called you?
A police officer called me, a detective.
And at that time, did you go to the store?
Correct.
Okay. In general terms, sir, please just describe the camera system that you have at the store.
It's a security system that was installed when we built the store in 2011. It's pretty sophisticated.
Does it have any particular characteristic with regards to trying to save sort of storage within the system?
Yeah, I mean, it saves footing for about a month or 6 weeks, and the only way that you could have enough memory to last that long is that it would stop when there is no motion. So each camera has a motion sensor, and it will not record when there is no activities.
Sir, while you were there with the police that night, did you make note whether or not the time on the video was accurate?
Yes.
Okay. And sir, how was the video from that particular conversation you had with the state police taken?
I was told that the officers wanted to look at a certain time frame, and we looked it up, and we made a copy. I made a copy for them.
And that particular time frame, sir, was that roughly 2 o'clock to 2:15 a.m., June 17, 2013?
Yes.
May I approach, Your Honor?
May.
Doctor, I'll show you this item and ask if you recognize what that is.
That's my initials.
And the particular item itself,
Yes, that's a thumb drive.
okay? And do you know what's contained on this thumb drive?
I think it's the footing from the camera system.
Did you yourself mark those initials?
Yes,
And did you view the camera system video this morning?
I have.
And did you mark this morning?
Yes.
And is that a true and accurate copy of what the police took from your video system when you met with them at Blue Hill Express?
Correct.
Move to admit.
No objection, Your Honor.
Maybe mark as the next exhibit.
Doctor, other than that, have you had any other involvement with regards to this case?
No.
No further questions.
Good morning, Doctor.
Good morning.
You were asked on direct examination whether the time was accurate on your video system at the Blue Hill Express, correct?
Yes.
And you determined that that was accurate? That is, you yourself determined that?
Yes.
The police didn't try to change that time in any way?
No.
Thank you, Doctor. Nothing further, Your Honor.
No questions, sir.
You may
Thank you.
step down.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Judge, at this time, we'd ask to play portions of that video.
May.
Ron, for the record, the first section that we're looking for is marked as camera 9 at approximately 2:03 to approximately 2:12:45. Your Honor, we next ask to play camera 29 from 2:08 to 2:10, please.
You may.
one more view of camera 14 from about 2:08 to maybe around 2:10.
You may.
Thank you, Your Honor. Just a moment. Thank you very much, Your Honor.
Call the next witness, Your Honor. Your Honor, I call Trooper Peter Bangston, please.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give is the support that you will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Your Honor, I forgot to have that item marked. May I have it marked as an exhibit, Your Honor? The little drive.
I thought it was.
You know, I looked at it and I didn't see a mark on it. Oh, that's why. Thank you, Judge.
228.
Excuse me. May I, Your Honor? Morning, sir.
Good morning.
Would you state your full name?
Yes, my name's Peter Bangston.
And how do you spell your last name?
It's Bengtson.
And where do you work, sir?
I'm employed by the Massachusetts State Police.
How long have you been with the Mass State Police?
I've been with the Massachusetts State Police for 13 years now. Previous to that, I spent 4 years with the Connecticut State Police.
And how are you, excuse me, currently assigned?
I'm currently assigned with the Crime Scene Services section,
And how long have you been in that, the crime scene service section?
approximately 6 years now.
I'd like to direct your attention to June 22nd of 2013. Do you recall working on that date?
Yes, sir.
And were you working as part of the crime scene sections unit?
Yes, sir.
some point in that day, did you go to a location in North Attleboro?
Yes, I did.
Where did you go?
I went to 22C Ronald C. Meyer.
And when you arrived at that location, did you meet other law enforcement officers?
Yes, I did.
And did you participate in the execution of a search warrant?
That's correct.
And what was your role on that day, sir?
I was assigned to document the residence prior to any searching being conducted with digital photographs.
And during the course of the search, did you also take photographs?
Yes.
And-
I was assigned to photograph items of interest designated by the investigators searching.
Do you recall the items, some of the items that were being searched for?
Not specifically, as my role is to provide documentation rather than do the actual search itself.
Now, at some point, did you have occasion to observe and photograph certain closet areas in the home?
Yes, I did.
And just describe which closets did you photograph?
I actually photographed every closet within the residence. Specifically, I recall downstairs a photograph of a closet containing footwear. Upstairs, I photographed a laundry room as well as a linen closet, the master bedroom closet, and closets within the guest rooms throughout the house.
And do you recall whether clothing or footwear was one of the things that was being looked for?
That was one of the things, yes.
And did you take, specifically, did you take photographs of footwear and some clothing items?
Yes, sir.
Now, you indicated you began, or at some point, you took a photograph of a closet on the first floor?
Yes.
Just describe where that was.
That was, as you entered the residence to the left, it was in between a room I would describe as a formal sitting room and a office on the left side of the residence.
May I approach, Your Honor?
May.
So I'm just going to show you this photograph. Ask you if you recognize it.
Yes, I do.
What do you recognize that to be?
That is the photograph that I described of the downstairs closet containing footwear.
That was on the day of June 22nd, 2013.
Yes, sir.
I'll just submit to exhibit.
No objection.
Move on to the next exhibit.
And if I can publish this.
What you know is the mark 229. That's the closet you were just talking about.
Yes, I do.
And what was contained in the closet?
Mainly numerous items of footwear.
And how were they placed in this closet area?
Mostly paired up without boxes, stacked on shelves together.
Did you see any boxes in the closet area?
There are a couple, yes.
This item I'm focusing on, does that indicate you recognize those items?
Yes, I do.
And what are those?
It appears to be a Puma box.
So just showing the C for identification. You indicated this closet was on the first floor.
Yes, sir.
Do you recall how you entered the home?
I entered through the front door to the foyer.
You recognize that in this diagram?
Yes, I do.
Where would that be?
It is marked with the foyer near the...
It's easier.
I'm sorry.
If it's easier, you could point.
Okay. And through the front door here in the foyer area.
Okay, and from that area, where is this closet that I just showed you the photograph of?
It would be down to the left in this living room and in between the office and the living room right here.
Okay, is that labeled as something on this diagram?
It's labeled as WIC.
Okay, do you know what WIC stands for?
No, sir.
Was it a walk-in closet, the area that you photographed, sir?
Yes, sir.
So you indicated at some point you also went upstairs and photographed a closet in the master bedroom?
Yes, sir.
Now I may approach. I'm just going to show you a series of photographs. Ask you just take a look through them first. Recognize those photos, sir?
Yes, I do.
What do you recognize them to be?
Those are the photos of the master closet that I described.
You take a series of photographs to encompass the closet area.
Yes, I do.
This is the next exhibit.
No objection.
Next exhibit.
If I could publish these.
I'm going to show you, excuse me, 230A. You recognize that as one of the photographs of the closet.
Yes, I do.
Describe the items contained in this closet.
Mostly on the right side, it'd be items of male clothing, shirts, pants, some folded clothes. On the top of the shelving appear to be some boxes, shoe boxes, as well as plastic containers holding footwear.
What kind of, predominantly, what kind of footwear is in the closet?
It appear to be sneakers.
Notice any dresser or drawers in this closet?
Yes.
That's depicted in this photograph, 238.
Yes, on the left side.
The left side, right here, over here.
5 dress drawers.
I'm showing you with the mark on 230B. Recognize this photograph.
Yes, I do.
And what does it depict?
It depicts 2 boxes of shoe boxes, a pair of sneakers to the left, and a couple of plastic containers holding footwear.
And what type of, was there other clothing here?
Yes, shirts hanging.
What type of clothing was it?
Appear to be mostly shirts and some pants over to the left in this area.
I'm sorry, men's or women's clothing here?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
Men's or women's clothing?
It appears to be men's clothing.
I'll show you now 230C. What does this photograph depict?
It depicts the drawers contained within that master closet, some hats, men's clothing, some items folded, again, plastic containers holding footwear, as well as shoe boxes on the top of the closet area.
And can you see an additional set of drawers in this photograph?
Yes.
And how many drawers do you see there next to the other one there?
The additional 5 for a total of 10 drawers within the closet.
You see some women's clothing here at some part of the photograph.
Yes, on the left-hand portion of the photograph, you begin to see what appears to be women's items.
So I'm showing you what's been marked 230D. You recognize this photograph?
Yes, I do.
What does this depict?
To the right side, it appears to contain men's clothing, shirts hanging. Again, to the back of the photograph, the drawers on the right-hand side, some hats, and once again, to the top, there's several boxes in plastic containers containing footwear.
So 230E, now on the overhead. What does this show?
This again shows items of clothing, both hanging and folded. On top, there's several black boxes that appear to be shoe boxes.
Were you able to make observations with shoe boxes?
Yes.
And what size is indicated on the shoe box?
A 13.
In terms of the type of shoe, you able to determine the type of shoe from the shoe box?
Yes, they appear to be Nikes.
I'm now going to show you 230F. What does this photograph show?
This photograph again shows items of clothing hanging as well as folded on shelves. On top, there's 2 or 3 black boxes as well as 2 plastic containers containing footwear.
Were you able to make observations in later time of your photographs in terms of other boxes that were not sneakers?
Yes.
And what type of shoes were they?
They seem to be some type of designer shoe, a Gucci and I believe it was a Polo Ralph Lauren shoe.
And what size was depicted on those?
Those were also 13s.
So I'm putting on 230G on the overhead. And you recognize this photo?
Yes, I do.
And is that depict that same area, just different angle?
Yes, sir.
Now, sir, were any items recovered from that closet area?
Yes.
Okay, and what items were taken?
As I recall, there was some items from a safe from that closet.
And when you say items from a safe, at some point, did you take photographs of that safe area?
Yes, I did.
And just describe the items that were recovered?
As I recall, there was a bowl as well as a digital scale.
And with regard to footwear, were certain pairs of sneakers recovered during the execution of that search warrant?
I did photo some sneakers. I'm not sure as to who recovered the actual sneakers themselves.
Okay. But do you recall how many pairs of sneakers were taken?
No, I do not.
Okay. Did you photograph all of them?
I'm unsure of that, yeah.
Sir, do you recall any items coming in plastic boxes that you photographed?
No.
Do you know Jessica Robideau?
Yes, I do.
And how do you know her?
She is a forensic scientist assigned to the criminology department.
And was she present during the execution of the search warrant?
Yes, she was.
And did you work in concert with her at times during that search warrant?
Yes, at times I did.
And what was she doing and what were you doing?
I was, again, documenting any items of interest from the various investigators there. She was looking for clothing and footwear.
Okay. Now, sir, during the time you were there, did you photo just a number of items?
Yes.
Was your attention ever drawn to the recovery of any gun?
No.
Okay, in terms of there was no handgun or firearm that was recovered?
No, sir.
Did you understand that was one of the items that was being searched for?
Yes, sir.
Now, at some point, were you called to the basement area?
Yes, I was.
Can I approach you? I'm just going to show you these four photographs. I should look at them. You recognize them, sir?
Yes, I do.
What do you recognize them to be?
It's the bedroom that was located in the basement, guest bedroom.
Were these photographs taken by yourself on June 22nd, 2013?
Yes, they were.
I'll offer this as the next exhibit.
Objection.
Mark this next exhibit.
I may publish these. This one. So I'm showing you this photograph, 231A. What is this photograph depict?
So, overall photograph of the guest bedroom in the basement.
Is that the location of the bed as you observed it when you were in this area of the home?
Yes.
And this area over here shows a door.
Yes.
You know where that door went to?
That leads out into the area of the basement where the pool table was located in the wet room.
And from the foot of the bed facing the headboard, to what side? Is that your right or left?
That would be to the right.
Sir, 231, excuse me, B is now on the overhead. You recognize this scene, sir?
Yes, sir.
What does this show?
This is a different angle of the same bedroom, the same guest room in the basement.
And this photograph was taken from what area?
This is approximately the location of the door that we just previously discussed.
C is now on the overhead. What does this show, sir?
This is a photo of the box spring of that same bed that was in the previous photograph.
And this photograph had been taken after an item had been removed from it?
The upper mattress had been removed.
And lastly, 231D, you recognize this photograph?
Yes, I do.
And what does this show?
This is the same box spring from the opposite angle of the previous photo of the box spring.
And sir, at some point were you asked to go to the second floor laundry area?
Yes, I was.
And did you take a photograph of an item there?
Yes, I did.
And what item did you photograph?
I recall photographing a white sweatshirt type shirt.
Okay. Do you remember that photograph? If I could approach your arm. I'm just going to show you what contained in this. This one. Ask you to recognize it.
Yes, I recognize that item.
And where did you see this item on?
This was photoed within that laundry room that we discussed.
Did you notice any emblem on that? In the chest area of this item?
No, just a white bucket.
Purpose of the record, that's Exhibit 154. Did you recover or did you photograph any white sweatshirts that showed an emblem on the chest, left chest pocket?
No, sir.
If I could have one moment, Your Honor.
Me.
Sir, did you also have an occasion to go down to the basement to photograph something in a refrigerator area?
Yes.
And what was that?
I recall photographing an open refrigerator with vitamin water.
Okay, and do you know what kind of flavor it was?
No, I do not.
Okay. And with regard to the garage, did you have an occasion to go to the garage to examine and photograph some certain items?
Yes.
And do you recall photographing a black bag, essentially?
I do, yes.
And was there another bag with that?
Yes.
And what color was that?
There was a white plastic bag with that.
Okay. Did you photograph items inside those bags?
Yes, I did.
And what items were in the white plastic bag?
I believe there was a pair of pants in the white plastic bag and a piece of paper.
Okay. And the piece of paper, did you photograph that?
Yes, I did.
And what was that?
I believe it was a boarding pass.
And did it have a name on it?
Yes, it did.
And what was the name?
Ernest Wallace.
And was it dated?
It was April 30th of 2013.
Okay. And in that black bag, were there any other articles of clothing?
Yes.
Did you photograph those items?
Yes, I did.
And do you recall there being a pair of sweatpants that you photographed?
Yes.
And what about when you were there, was there any vehicles in the garage?
Yes.
And what vehicles?
There were two vehicles contained within that garage. One was a Toyota Camry, an older model Toyota Camry, and a white vehicle. I can't recall the make and model of that.
Now, sir, and finally, was there an item that you also photographed in the basement that was a lockbox?
Yes.
And just where did you photograph that?
I was summoned to the basement by the investigators. It was in a storage area off to the opposite side of the basement, to the right side of the pool table area.
Okay. And did you, just what was its condition when you first observed it?
It was closed.
And was it locked or unlocked, if you know?
The switch was in the unlocked position.
So as a result, did you photograph it first in its closed position?
Yes, sir.
And then afterwards, were you able to open it?
Yes.
And did you photograph the inside contents?
Yes, I did.
And what did it contain?
It contained one box of .22 ammunition.
Excuse me. As a result of your work there that night, did you take any items with you?
Yes, I did.
And what items did you take?
I just took the safe that we just previously discussed.
Okay. When you say the safe, is that described as a lockbox?
Yes, sir.
And the items that were contained therein was, there was some ammunition?
Yes, sir.
And what happened to those items?
Those items were turned over to Trooper Conroy from Ballistics.
Okay. And so just tell us, what did you do with the lockbox?
I transported the lockbox to Lakeville, the lab in Lakeville. I secured those, entered them into the LIMS system. The following day, I began the processing of that box.
Okay. And when you say you entered into the LIMS system, what is that?
That's the Laboratory Information Management System to track evidence that is secured from any type of investigation.
And are there certain numbers that are then assigned?
Yes.
And then after you had logged that in LIMS, did you later do anything else with regard to the lockbox?
Yes, the following day I began processing the locked box for latent friction ridge impressions.
Okay. And sir, as part of your duties in the crime scene services section, are you trained in fingerprint analysis?
Yes, sir.
And how long have you been trained in fingerprint analysis?
Since being assigned to the unit, my training began at that date.
Okay. And with regards to that training, are there certain ways that you attempt to recover fingerprints?
Yes.
And just describe the different ways that you can attempt to recover fingerprints.
One of the most common methods in this instance that I used is cyanoacrylate fuming, more commonly known as superglue fuming. Superglue in its liquid state is heated within a vacuum chamber. This heating causes the superglue to vaporize or become gaseous. In this gaseous state of superglue, it adheres to the elements that make up a latent fingerprint, which is mostly water, amino acids, lipids, and salts. This results in two things. First of all, it solidifies that latent print to be more solid, and it also makes it visible to the human eye for further analysis.
Now, there are obviously other ways of trying to collect fingerprints. Is that true?
Yes, sir.
The more common way is what?
Using powders.
Okay. And is there a benefit in using the fuming method?
Yes, it produces better results. It doesn't wipe out the fragility of a latent print that, again, is made up of mostly water, about 98% water, by brushing over it. That superglue solidifies that water latent print, and then a powder can be adhered to that more strengthened latent, creating a better contrast for analysis.
Okay. Did you ultimately do the analysis of any fingerprints recovered from that lockbox?
No, sir.
Okay. Do you work in a unit with other people who, like yourself, have been trained in fingerprinting?
Yes.
And who are some of the other people in the fingerprint unit assigned to crime scene section?
Lieutenant Steve Bennett, David Mackin, Trooper David Mackin, Sergeant William Tabelkas, myself, Trooper Lance Mellow, some of them.
Trooper Bartlett?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what about Trooper Silva?
Yes, sir. Anyone assigned to the crime scene services unit would be trained in latent fingerprint analysis.
Okay. If I could have one moment, Your Honor. Sir, after you fumed it, did you inspect it to see whether there were any visible prints?
No, sir.
Okay. Do you know who later was assigned that?
I believe it was a joint effort between Lieutenant Steve Bennett and Trooper David Mackin.
Thank you. Nothing further on.
Good morning, Trooper.
Good morning, sir.
Your job on June 22nd was to take photographs before and during the search, right?
Yes, sir.
And is it fair to say you took, that's a pretty big house, right?
Yes, sir.
Fair to say you took a lot of photographs that day?
I believe it's somewhere around 200 photographs.
Okay. So the photographs that you were shown on direct examination and that were introduced into evidence, but that's only a small portion of the photographs you took.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Nothing else, Your Honor.
You may
Thank
sit down.
The next witness, excuse me, I call Carl Blando, please.
Sir, do you solemnly swear that the testimony about to give to this court in this jury will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God? Yes, sir.
You may proceed.
May I? Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, sir.
Morning.
State your name.
My first name's Carl. My last name is Blando, B-L-A-N-D-O.
And, sir, just directing your attention to June 28th of 2013, did you have an occasion to go to North Attleboro?
Yes, sir.
And did you go to a home located at 22 Ronald C. Meyer?
Yes, I did.
And when you arrived at that home, did you go inside?
Yes.
And once inside, did you take photographs of a particular area?
Yes, sir.
And you had brought a camera with you for that purpose?
Correct.
And do you recall taking photographs of a first floor walk-in closet?
Yes, sir.
And just with regard to that location in the home, can you just describe that?
If it's on the first floor, if you walked in the front entry, you go to the left, there's a little area that could have been a living room or a den. And as you pass through towards the further back in the house, on the left side, there's a walk-in closet.
Your Honor, may I? So I'm just going to show you this photograph and ask you if you recognize it.
Yes, sir.
And what do you recognize that to be?
That same walk-in closet we're speaking of.
And is that depict the photograph that you took of that area?
Correct, right from the doorway.
On June 28th of 2013.
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, this is the next exhibit. No objection, Your Honor.
And mark this next exhibit.
Publish this one, Your Honor. If I could just first go to what was previously marked seat for identification. Do you recognize the layout of this area as the first floor of that home?
Yes, sir.
And do you recall what door you went in?
We went in through the garage.
And at some point, did you make your way over to the foyer area?
Yes, sir.
Is that accurately reflected where I'm putting my pen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and just describe from there where you went.
Continue through to that where it says living room?
You're pointing over here, sir?
Yes.
Okay, I'll just follow you.
And then into that hallway that leads towards that back office?
Okay.
And then the washing closet's right there.
Okay, and when you say the walk-in closet, is that reflect the WIC?
Yes, sir.
And I'm going to show you now the mark 232. Does this photograph depict looking into that walk-in closet?
Yes, sir.
Is this the condition of those shoes on the date of June 28th of 2013?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. I have nothing further.
Morning, Mr. Blando.
Good morning, sir.
That's not the only photograph you took on that day, is that right?
No, it's not.
You took a couple hundred photographs,
Correct.
all areas of the house?
Correct.
Thank you.
Nothing else, thank
You
you.
may sit down.
Thank you.
We're on a call of Paul Bartlett next.
Remain standing, please, the clerk may be ready.
Sir, do you solemnly swear that the testimony about to give to this court and this jury will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. Morning. May I inquire, Your Honor?
You may.
Sir, state your name for the record, please.
My name is Paul Bartlett.
Spell that last name, please.
Yes, it's Bartlett.
What do you do for a living, sir?
I'm a trooper with the Massachusetts State Police.
How long have you been a trooper?
I've been a trooper since March of 1999, so almost 16 years now.
And where are you assigned currently?
I'm currently assigned to the Crime Scene Services Section, which is located in Lakeville.
How long have you done that kind of work?
I've been assigned to the Crime Scene Unit since April of 2002, so almost 13 years.
Within the particular department, describe what is your responsibility.
I have numerous responsibilities as a trooper assigned to the Crime Scene Unit. One of which is I respond to calls for service from local towns, local cities, state agencies, and on occasion federal agencies to document crime scenes, to collect evidence, process that evidence, and then conduct fingerprint examinations.
Turning your attention to June 28th of 2013, did you have a particular role with regards to this case?
Yes, I did.
And what was that role, please?
I was asked to respond to the North Attleboro Police Department to obtain major case prints from an individual.
Okay. Do you know the name of that individual?
I do, yes. His name was Carlos Ortiz.
And just, if you could, please just describe what are major case prints?
Major case prints are a fancy way of saying not only so much fingerprints, but they're palm prints. It's a recreation of the friction-ridged skin located on the palms and the fingers of a person's hands.
And on that date, how did you go about taking Mr. Ortiz's fingerprints and palm prints?
The way you take initially we take just a person's fingerprints, which is we apply ink to a person's hand. We roll their fingers across a piece of paper, a piece of cardboard, white contrasting cardboard. Once the fingerprints were completed, we did the same thing to the palms. I say we. I did the same thing to the palms. I rolled ink onto his palms, and I simply rolled it across a roller so that a reproduction could be made.
How many sets did you take that day?
We took 2 sets of each.
And with regards to any notations that Mr. Ortiz made? Did he acknowledge the fact that the prints were taken anywhere on the actual place that you were putting the ink?
He did, yes. He signed the cards, and he initialed where he had given his palm prints, yes.
And, sir, did you bring anything into court with you here today?
I did, yes.
And what was that?
I brought those major case prints that I obtained that day.
May I approach, Your Honor?
May.
Sir, hand those.
Yes.
May I approach you again? Thank you. Specifically with regard to the item that you just handed me, you sort of just hold that up and go card by card, sort of see what we're looking at here.
Well, it doesn't have to mark as considered.
First of all, could you identify what that item is that you sent back to?
Yes, I can.
And what is that?
These are the major case prints that I obtained from Mr. Ortiz that afternoon.
Just ask that it be marked as one item, Judge.
No objection.
Maybe marked as next exhibit?
All right, sir, if you just hold up the cards card by card, show the honor first, and then the jury will exactly what we're looking at. And what is that, sir?
These are called 10-print cards. These cards are used to obtain someone's fingerprints and only their fingerprints. It's the top digit of each finger.
Okay, if you just put that to the side, sir. The next cards.
These are stapled together. There are 2, 3, 7. There are 7 of them total. These are a reproduction of Mr. Ortiz's hands. This one is his left palm. I'm sorry. That one is also the left palm. The third, left palm. The fourth one would be his right palm. The fifth is the right palm. Sixth is the right palm. And the last one is also the right palm. This card here is it's referred to as a detailed fingerprint card. It's slightly different from the 10-print card that I showed you earlier, as this does not contain only the first digit, but it can also goes down to the second digit. Additionally, it doesn't just show you with a flat surface, but it shows you to the size. So each box that you see here, you see, like for instance right here, you see 4 impressions. Well, this is actually one finger. This is going to be the left thumb of Mr. Ortiz, and this was taken, if you can see me, this is sort of the side of his thumb. That's the front of his thumb. This is the opposite side of his thumb. And this box on the top is the rolled tip. We did that. You can see there's 5 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Additionally, there's 5 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this here is his initials where he initialed it for me. That's one copy of that. We did 2 of those as well. Left fingers again, and right fingers again.
Just put those back together and then we'll...
Certainly.
I'm handing you now what previously marked as exhibit number 143 and asking you to recognize the individuals depicted in that photograph.
I do, yes.
And who is that?
This is Mr. Ortiz, the gentleman I met that day.
Me.
No further questions. I don't have any questions, Your Honor. Thank you.
You may step down.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your time.
Would you rather stop?
Your Honor, the next witness is also a major case print witness, so probably be pretty quick. Why don't we, can you step right now? Take the break or not, I'm sorry.
No, why don't we go with the witness?
Lance Mellow, please.
Face the clerk and raise your right hand.
Should you solemnly swear that the testimony that you give to this court will share the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do. On Your Honor.
May I inquire, Your Honor?
You may.
Thank you, sir. Could you state your name for the record, please?
Lance Mellow,
Spell that last name for me, please.
M-E-L-L-O.
And, sir, where do you work?
I am currently assigned as a trooper for the Massachusetts State Police.
How long have you been a state police officer?
Approximately 8 years.
And what part of the department are you assigned to?
I'm assigned to the Crime Scene Services section.
How long have you been assigned there?
Approximately 5.5 years.
And if you could just describe briefly for the jury what your responsibilities are within the Crime Scene Services Division.
The responsibilities in the Crime Scene Services section are responding to crime scenes, documenting the scenes with photography, video, sketches, collecting and processing evidence.
Did your responsibilities with regards to this case on July 5th of 2013 in North Attleboro?
Yes.
And what were those responsibilities?
I responded on July 5th to North Attleboro to take the major case prints.
And of what particular individual?
Ernest Wallace.
How did you go about doing that?
At that time, I responded to the scene. I documented Mr. Wallace with digital photos. And from that point, we take major case prints, which is the inking of the hands from the wrist bracelet all the way to the fingertips.
And did you yourself actually take the particular prints of Mr. Wallace?
Yes, I did.
And how did you make note that it was Mr. Wallace himself? How did you do that?
I document the card and have him sign each card.
And, sir, did you bring something to court with you here today?
Yes, I did.
May I approach you?
May.
Sir, the item that you brought to court today, what was that?
The major case prints of Ernest Wallace.
And, sir, could you just describe within the envelope what exactly is sort of within that envelope and sort of take the items out as you do so?
There are two cards, exemplars of Mr. Wallace's fingerprints. Right here.
Are those basically duplicates of the
Yes, they
same
are.
thing? Did you actually take them twice, in other words, one full set and take another set?
Yes, I did.
Is there anything else in the envelope?
Yes, there are. There is the palm prints, left and right palm of Ernest Wallace, which are duplicates also.
Ask this item to be marked, Your Honor.
No objection.
Marked as next exhibit.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. May I approach you?
May.
Appreciate you previously marked exhibit number 10. Can I ask if you recognize what that is?
Yes, I do.
What was that?
That is the photo I took of Ernest Wallace.
Is that the way it looked to you that night?
Yes, it is.
May I approach you?
May.
Thank you very much.
Exhibit 20. I'll need a viewer for the record.
Good morning, Trooper.
Good morning, sir.
You work in crime scene services, right?
Yes.
And as you told us, you have a variety of responsibilities, right?
Correct.
In the course of your duties, have you been trained in buccal DNA collection, sir?
Yes.
Okay. And tell the jury, please, what is buccal DNA collection?
The swabbing of the inside of the mouth for collection of DNA.
For purposes of testing, right?
Correct.
And do you know whether a buccal DNA sample was ever collected from Ernest Wallace, sir?
I do not.
Thank you, sir.
You may step down. It probably makes sense to take the morning recess 5 minutes early instead of starting with a witness and then stopping shortly thereafter. So we will do that at this time. Keep an open mind. Don't discuss the case among yourselves or with anyone else.
All right.